So, Mr. Richard, we have the phone number that ends in 1752.
I'm talking about the number you supposedly contacted the defendant on.
Yeah, you're the defendant, and it's the phone number that ends in 1752.
No, that's an assumption and presumption. I'm not nobody's defendant. Under what law are you saying that I could? What charges? What are the charges? You're refusing to answer any questions. That's what you're saying? Because I just have questions. I
It
didn't
does
even answer. I didn't even ask the question. So how did you answer it? That's what I'm saying. Are you refusing to answer the questions? Why are you enforcing statutes if you took?
All right, guys. Today we've got one of the most annoying sovereign citizens I've ever covered. Seriously, this dude just will not shut up. He's not sticking to the usual, I don't recognize this court script, but make no mistake, he's still playing the sovereign citizen game, acting like the law doesn't apply to him. Spoiler alert, it does. Judges do not mess around with this kind of nonsense, and honestly, it's painful to watch. This guy is a complete imbecile. Let me know in the comments what you guys think his IQ is, and if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Now, let's dive in.
Richard, if you could activate your audio and video so I know that you are hearing. Okay, thank you. This is the case that I believe I saw recently. There was a eval set up and they were unable to reach him to participate in that evaluation.
That's my understanding, Your Honor. I saw that as well. I think the last time we were in court, counsel indicated that the meeting had been set up to do the evaluation and the date was discussed. And it looks like Mr. Richard did not appear for that.
And for the record, Sean Parent for Mr. Richard. Yes, unfortunately, that appears to be the case. I'm not sure why Mr. Richard didn't appear at the evaluation.
So, Mr. Richard, we've been waiting for you to talk to one of the doctors, and we've been setting this case over for that to happen. When you were here on April 8th, we discussed that you were scheduled for that appointment on April 24th. So I know that you were aware that they had you calendared. Mr. Richard, why didn't you show up for that appointment?
Well, that was an assumption. I wasn't aware of anything.
Well, you were at the hearing when we talked about it, so.
I don't recall.
You participated on Zoom on April 8th, and we discussed that your evaluation was calendared for the 24th of April.
Was there anything signed for confirmation?
Well, your attorney has been working to get that set up. So.
Well, I haven't talked to anybody.
Mr. Parent, have you been in contact with Mr. Richard?
Looks like my office, we tried to reach him to make sure that he appeared at the evaluation, but we were unsuccessful in reaching him.
Do you have proof of that?
Yes, I have my colleague's notes that we tried to get a hold of you.
And what was the number?
So, Mr. Richard, we have the phone number that ends in 1752.
I'm talking about the number you supposedly contacted the defendant on.
Yeah, you're the defendant, and it's the phone number that ends in 1752.
No, that's an assumption and presumption. I'm not nobody's defendant. I'm an authorized representative of that account.
I'm gonna guess this guy's IQ is like -3, maybe even lower. How does this dude have the nerve to straight up tell the judge he's not the defendant? The audacity of these sovereign citizens is insane. Or maybe it's not even audacity. Maybe he just genuinely doesn't care what anyone thinks at this point. Either way, this whole situation is so simple. He was literally in court for traveling, without a license. Just pay the fine and move on with your life. But nope, these sovereign citizens are just so egotistical, they have to turn everything into a battle they can't win. What do you guys think about this guy so far? Let's dive back in.
Okay, so Mr. Richard, the thing is, if you cannot participate out of custody, the court may have to set bail and have you placed in custody to get this evaluation accomplished. So when you are informed of the appointment and then you choose not to appear, the court interprets that as a willful violation.
Under what what law are you saying that I could, what charges what are the charges?
We've gone over that. You have been told that you are charged with driving while license suspended and driving without an ignition interlock device. So
When,
I understand that
what was the
I
date?
understand you disagree, but at
No,
this
what was the
point,
date?
we
I
need to,
don't disagree with none of the facts. I said, what was the date?
the date of the driving. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I don't drive, so I'm trying to figure out the date you have on file.
June 4th, 2022, Your Honor, is the charge date.
Thank you.
Okay, and have I been charged with anything?
Yes.
And what is it? What are the charges?
As the court just read aloud, driving while license suspended and driving without a functioning ignition interlock.
And is there a witness that you can bring to attain to that?
Those are the criminal charges. You also were cited for not having insurance.
Yeah, but do you have a witness?
Yes, the city has witnesses. We have the officer that will be testifying.
The officer. Okay, well, can you read the police ticket on the record?
We're not having a trial today. We're trying to figure out whether or not you are competent and able to proceed in this matter, and that requires that you speak to a doctor. But that is what we're trying to accomplish. And Mr. Richard, if you refuse.
Can you explain to me? I don't understand. So can you explain to me how
We've
how this works?
explained this to you previously. So what I'm going to ask you is whether or not you are going to comply with meeting the doctor out of jail, or does the court need to set bail and have you booked into custody so they can talk to you there? That's not what I'm wanting to do. I would like you to cooperate and have this case proceed with you out of custody.
Well, I need some type of contract to obtain to whatever you're asking, because I have questions and you're not answering.
This guy is straight up brain dead. The judge and prosecutor have already answered his dumb questions like 10 times, but he just won't stop. Do you guys think he's just stalling? Maybe hoping they'll get frustrated and throw out the case? Because I cannot see any other reason for this. His whole strategy seems to be just asking the same questions over and over, then trying to gaslight the court into thinking they never answer him. Like, bro, we all heard them answer you. This isn't some genius legal loophole. It's just annoying. Let me know what you guys think. Is he actually this clueless, or is he just playing games? Let's dive back in. We all heard them answer you multiple times. 2. This dude is just such a waste of time. I seriously wonder how much tax money is being burned just because he refuses to get a competent review of his case. Instead, he's dragging this out with the same nonsense over and over.
Your Honor, at this point, I think given the track record of Mr. Richard and his unwillingness to comply, the city is going to be asking that the court set bail and remand him on that bail to have the evaluation done in custody.
Mr. Richard, can you assure the court that you will come to an out of custody evaluation?
I will agree to anything if you guys can tell me the nature and cause of this action. My Sixth Amendment right. I need to know these things before we can move further. Are you refusing to tell me?
I didn't quite hear your question. What are you asking?
I need to know the nature and cause of this action. I need to know that before we can move forward.
Yeah, I believe that the court has told you that you're being charged with driving a license suspended in the 3rd degree and operating a motor vehicle without an ignition interlock device.
Okay, well, I have a question for the judge.
What's that,
Hello?
Mr. Richard?
Hello?
Mr. Richard?
Hello? Or can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You should sit down, and then instead of having me facing you at the clouds, you should participate in this hearing. Thank you. So every time we have a hearing, you ask these same questions, and we've explained to you that you're facing criminal charges and that we need to have the doctor speak to you. And so right now, your option is whether or not, as your attorney said, you can agree to meet with the doctors and stay out of jail to do that, or the court will have to remand you into custody so that they can
So
talk to you
basically,
while
you're
you're
telling
in
me you're
jail.
refusing to answer me. You're refusing to answer any questions? That's what you're saying? Because I just have questions.
We've answered your questions. We're going to proceed at this point. I'm going to.
I didn't even ask the question. So how did you answer it? That's what I'm saying. Are you refusing to answer the questions?
What do you want to know besides what you're charged with? What was your other questions?
My other question was, did you or did you not take an oath to uphold the Constitution? Can I just get a yes or no?
That would be a yes.
So you're enforcing statutes right now, and so you're totally going against your oath. So I'm trying to figure out what authority do you have to tell me to do anything as a public servant?
Mr. Richard, I am authorized by the revised Code of Washington to sit in this court. I'm duly appointed to be a municipal court judge. I've taken my oath. You're charged with a violation of the RCW and the Lake Forest Park Municipal Code.
Why are you enforcing statutes if you took an oath?
I know you don't think that it applies to you, but it does. So
I didn't say it didn't apply to me.
I'm going to set bail in this matter at $10,000.
You're making assumptions, ma'am. You're making assumptions, ma'am. I never said it didn't apply to me. But we both know here that the Constitution is not for me. It is for the public servants. So I don't know why you're making assumptions and presumptions. All I had was questions. And you're just going around.
The judge needs to hit this idiot with a contempt charge already. For one, the dude isn't even showing his face. That's just straight up disrespectful. And it's so obvious he's just messing with everyone, playing these weird mind games. He's making the whole court system look bad by getting away with this nonsense, and it's beyond frustrating that the judge still hasn't shut him down. We see it way too often, sovereign citizens acting like this in court, being completely disrespectful, and just getting a slap on the wrist. I honestly don't get why more judges don't throw contempt charges at them. If this judge did, it would be 100% justified. This guy's a loose cannon, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually mentally ill. Let me know in the comments, do you think this judge is being too soft, or is she handling it the right way? Let's dive back in.
Obfuscation is a big thing.
I'm going to set bail at $10,000, and we're going to end this hearing, Mr. Richard. You can report to jail. You can come in, but we are trying to do this without you having to be in custody, but you are refusing to cooperate.
I didn't refuse anything. I was never put on notice. So I didn't refuse anything.
I know you were put on notice at our last hearing, so that's on the record. So I know that to be false, Mr. Richard. So that is
everything that I asked you. Am I wrong? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you're wrong. So we're going to end this, and we are done on this matter. Mr. Perrin, if he does reach out to you, and something can be arranged for them, but right now, the doctors have tried twice to contact you, and you've taken a spot that would have been available to someone else. So we need to progress this matter, and that bail will be set, and we'll continue with an in-custody hearing date when you are booked.
For the record, the judge is willingly going against public policy. So on here and in, you're held liable for everything you do from here and on out.
All right, thank you, Mr. Richard.
For the record.
There's just no way this guy shows up in person for his competency exam. I'd honestly bet money on it. He's so prideful, it's actually scary. Like, he could have just paid the ticket and moved on with his life. But nope. Here we are, wasting everyone's time and money, including the taxpayers. Now, instead of a simple fine, he has to post bond, pay court fees, and drag this out even longer. It's like he's intentionally making life harder for everyone, including himself. And for what? To stick it to the government? Bro, the government doesn't care about you. The only person suffering here is him. I know I rant about sovereign citizens a lot, but seriously, when is this nonsense going to end? These people refuse to accept that laws exist for a reason, and somehow think they're above all of them. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he'll actually show up, or is he about to dodge it? Let's dive back in. What's it really going to take to put a stop to this? Honestly, I'm starting to think we should just ship all the sovereign citizens to some deserted island and let them build their own society. Can you imagine that? No licenses, no courts, no rules, just pure chaos. That's not freedom, that's a mess. Honestly, I'd be all for that idea. Instead of my taxes going toward courts dealing with their nonsense, I'd happily pay transportation fees to get them out. Like, if you refuse to follow the rules here, then go somewhere else. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this court hearing. Was the judge too soft, or did she do all she could? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.